Hey everyone, today I'm gonna show you how to use sound as an animation tool in Toon Boom Harmony. For example, I have a scene with a character's speech that I borrowed from a little known TV show, and I wanna animate some stuff with it. Here it is.
I turned myself into a pickle more.
As you can see, my scene is not long enough for this sound. I can of course extend it manually or use this script to fit the scene duration to the sound layer. The script names PS_ sets scene duration to sound length. To set the length of this scene by sound, just click this script button.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
Also, I have this speaker drawing in this scene which I want to be animated. Unfortunately, I haven't found a way to do it in Harmony, so I had to invent my own. I named this script PS_sound amplitude to keyframes. The second script in today's video generates animation keys based on the amplitude of the sound. It requires at least one layer to be selected, a layer in which the animation will be generated, and the optional one, a sound layer. If no sound layer is selected, the first sound layer in this scene will be used. So we select a layer and click on this script button. What do we have here? The first two lines indicate the names of the layers I've just selected, the sound layer name and the name of the node which the animation will be applied. Here we have the name of the attribute in which the animation will be applied. This is the name of the column of the selected attribute. If this text is green, then the selected attribute has no animation column and a new one will be created. If this text is yellow, then the attribute already has a column and its keys will be replaced with the generated ones. You can change the name of this column if you like. The next two fields are the range of the generated frames. Here we have the minimum and maximum values of the animation keys. In my case, I apply the animation to the scale attribute and I don't want my speaker to be too flattened. So I put here 0.8 and 1. The next field is the smoothing amount. It's 0 by default, but to make the animation less twitchy, I set this, for example, to 1. And two methods of calculating the average amplitude of the sound in the entire frequency range. Now click the Create Keyframes button. The keys have been generated. You can leave the script window open and adjust the settings, for example, to adjust the smoothing and amplitude range. Let's take a look.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
So my speaker is jumping to the sound. To animate the x-axis scale, I can just copy the animation function from the y-axis to the x-axis.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
Or I can generate a new animation function and modify its timing for a more interesting motion. You can also offset the animation keys with an expression. It's more convenient because you have to deal with only one animation function.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
Okay, this animation looks fine. So we're done with the animation of the simple object. And now let's try to animate the mouth of this type of character. I'll make the top of his head jump to the sound. Select the back of his head, run the script, then select the position Y attribute, generate keys.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
Now the old timer is clapping his mouth. Fine, almost done. To make this motion not so mechanical, I would add a bit of rotation like this. Create a new expression. Get the value from the animation column I've just created. And let's add the basic motion with the sine function of time. Link the expression to the rotation of the peg of the upper part of the character's head.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
It looks a little more fun that way. Slamming heads is good, but can I switch the drawing substitutions of a character mouse using the sound? Substitution of the player. So now we have here the character that has a set of drawn Y scenes. How do I make the drawing substitutions and the sound amplitude work together? I haven't found a way to switch drawings directly using animations or expressions, so I came up with my own. Firstly, we need an animation function generated with the amplitude of the sound. Create a peg node to store this animation. Then generate animation keys by the amplitude of the sound in any of its attributes. A range of values from 0 to 100 will be fine. I put 1 to the smoothing field to avoid frequent changes of drawing substitutions. Fine, the animation function is ready. Now all that's left is to make it work with device scenes. The third script, ps_keys to key exposures, will help us here. Select the drawing node of the character's mouth and the node containing the generated animation, and run the script. Here in this window we have the names of the selected drawing and animation source node, the name of the attribute from which we will take the animated values, frame range for exposure keys generating, the frame offset of the animation source, to implement leading or lagging of the drawing substitutions switching relative to the original animation source timing, minimum exposure key duration, and the field defining the correspondence of specific drawing samples to the specific range of animation values. When you apply the script to a drawing for the first time, this field will be filled with example data. After you apply the script to the drawing, this data will be saved on it. So the next time you apply the script to the drawing, you don't need to enter them again. A couple of words about the syntax of this field. A line will be ignored if it starts with a sharp. This way you can leave comments or disable lines that you want to be ignored. Blank lines are also ignored. The correspondence of names of the drawing substitutions to the range of values is described as follows. The maximum animation value for this list of drawing substitutions, and the list of the names of the drawing substitutions you want to apply to this range, separated by comma. Now let's distribute these mouth phases inside the range of the animation. First I sort the names of the mouths by their openness. Here I have almost the same open mouth phases, so I put them in the same range. Then I arrange the animation values for each group of names. So for animation values less than 20 I use this drawing named default. For values between 20 and 40 I put a drawing with the name 10, and so on. And finally click the Create Key Exposures button. The key exposures are generated. Let's play the animation.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!
I think it's not much worse than the original one. So that's all for now, guys. Feel free to ask me if you have any questions or problems with these scripts. And you always can share your experiences or thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, guys. See ya!
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! I'm Pickle Rick!